This is the Scuba Educational Alliance Ocean Podcast, Episode 9. The Scuba Educational Alliance Ocean Podcast is a bi-weekly podcast dedicated to the world of scuba diving, ocean health, sustainability, and fostering a new generation of ocean stewards through diving education. Well, hello again, everyone, and Happy New Year to you all. I'm Jeff Centropino, founder and president of the Scuba Educational Alliance of Connecticut, and your host for this podcast. I hope you're doing well and are healthy as we make our way into 2025. Fortunately, my voice is getting much better thanks to a prescription inhaler from my doctor. I just couldn't shake that nagging cough, but this medicine seems to have done the trick. Makes for doing the podcast a whole lot easier. Well, with the holidays behind us, it's time to look ahead and hope that you have some great things planned for 2025. Last time on the podcast, I did a recap of 2024, so I thought this time it would be good to give you a look ahead for us. With that in mind, I'm not going to do my normal news and information update, C-State, but I'm going to jump right in with a preview of 2025. Well, 2025 is another milestone year for me. Not only is it a milestone birthday, I'll turn 70 in July. This is also the first full year that I am fully retired. I did a blog post on my website last year about my retirement, part 2. You see, I retired from the corporate world in 2021, only to then be full-time at the dive shop. Now, with the sale of the business, it's the sweetness of doing everything that you never had the time to do, or the sweetness of doing nothing, like sitting on the front porch with morning coffee or on the back deck in the afternoon watching the birds at the feeder. But right now, it's way too cold for me to do those things. But I do have a lot of things planned for this year. I don't know about you, but January always seems to be the longest month of the year for me. It doesn't seem to want to end. Perhaps it's because it's also the coldest month of the year here in Connecticut, and the darkest. Sunset at 4:30 in the afternoon makes for a lot of night. And I think I've always had what they call seasonal affective disorder, or SAD, S-A-D. I need the light. Now, one of the milestones that I look forward to every January is the first day that sunset happens after 5 p.m. This year here in our neck of the woods, that occurs on January 27th. Now, I'm not exactly sure when we'll see a 6 p.m. sunset because things change with daylight savings time, or at least right now we'll be moving the clocks forward in early March. There seems to be a renewed interest in not changing the clocks twice a year. I think it's silly to change them, and the reasons don't really make sense to me. And even if most people agree to not shift the clocks, we get into the debate of what to keep, standard time or daylight savings time. My vote would be standard time, but would settle either way. Maybe this will be the year. Okay, let's get off the time debate and talk about the year ahead. I'm going to start with the plans for the Scuba Educational Alliance of Connecticut. If you listened to my year-end wrap-up last time, you'll know that last year, still getting used to saying last year, we had some ups and downs. I thought we would again be doing another open water class in cooperation with one of the local high school districts. We had a lot of success in 2023, and 2 of our open water divers have continued on and are looking towards majoring in marine biology. How about that? One of them has finished the advanced open water and is looking to get his rescue diver and start the PADI Junior Dive Master class this year. The resources just weren't there to do a course in 2024, and as I mentioned before, I needed to take a step back, and we're now focused on offering scholarships to young men and women who are looking to become scuba divers or advance their training. So here's the plan for 2025. In February, we're going to open up our application process for 2 different scholarships. Our Ocean Steward 1 scholarship will be awarded to Connecticut high school students who are looking to get their open water diver certification. Right now, we have funding in place to offer 2 of these scholarships. Also, we'll be accepting applications for our Ocean Steward 2 scholarship for advanced open water training. This scholarship will be awarded to Connecticut residents 21 years of age or younger who are already a certified diver and want to take their advanced open water course. We'll be offering one of these scholarships. The scholarships will be awarded on March 31st this year, and the winners will need to complete their training this calendar year. I'm hoping that this just might be our first round of scholarships in 2025. If we're able to generate more funding, I want to do a second round later this year. So I'm now very excited about the direction that the nonprofit is headed and getting into a good flow. Up here in the Northeast, one of the scuba events that we always look forward to is the annual Boston Sea Rovers 2-day clinic. It's a great way to kick off the dive season. Traditionally, the clinic is held in March. When the pandemic hit, the show was moved to October, and that proved to be a difficult time since many folks were still diving up here and many dive shops were still training. Fortunately, the show was able to move back to the March timeframe, and last year was the 70th show. Now, I've been helping out the Sea Rovers since 2019 in the planning and execution of the clinic. It's a year-round effort to get everything lined up. So as I look ahead, the 71st clinic is only 2 months away. So if you're from the Northeast, or if you want to get to the Boston area in March, put this one on your calendar. It's March 15th and 16th. The official title is the 71st Boston Sea Rovers International Ocean Symposium, and that's at the Doubletree Hotel in Danvers, Massachusetts. That's just north of Boston, near Salem. 2025 will be my 3rd year serving on the Diving Equipment and Marketing Association's Board of Directors. Even though we sold the dive shop, I've remained affiliated with Scuba Shack and are their voting delegate for DEMA. That has allowed me to serve this year, which is the last year of my current term. It is certainly an honor to be on the board, and it has been a rewarding experience. So we will kick off our first board meeting in mid-February, as there's a lot to do this year and to get ready for the show. Now, in addition to the board work with DEMA, I'm also planning to continue to participate in both the Retailer Engagement Committee and the Show Committee. We spend a lot of time in March and April getting the sessions lined up for the show, and I look to evolve the show to make it better. As I said, a lot to do before November and this year's event in Orlando. Last year, one of my goals was to do some more reading, and I talked about that in the last episode. Well, I want to keep going in 2025. So I've put together another reading list this year, at least a preliminary list. I thought I would share some of that with you. Over the past 3 or 4 years, I've been working my way through Clive Cussler's Dirk Pitt series. I have 3 to go. There are 27 books in the series. I'm on number 25, Celtic Empire. Now, that is the last one that Clive wrote along with his son Dirk. The Devil's Sea and The Corsican Shadow were written by Dirk Cussler. Clive passed away in 2020. Also last year, I started a new series under the Cussler banner, the Sam and Remy Fargo Adventures. I have the next 4 teed up: The Tombs, The Mayan Secrets, The Eye of Heaven, and The Solomon Curse. Interestingly, this series has multiple authors. The first 3 were with Grant Blackwood, which I read last year. The Tombs and The Mayan Secret are with Thomas Perry, and The Eye of Heaven and The Solomon Curse are with Russell Blake. There are 5 more after that, and they're all written with Robin Burchell. Now, I'll be interested to see if I can spot the differences in authors. When it comes to nonfiction, this year I want to focus on some history. Last year I watched a miniseries called Sons of Liberty, and I realized that while I knew a lot about John Adams and Benjamin Franklin and George Washington, I didn't know a lot about Samuel Adams or Alexander Hamilton. So I have The Revolutionary Samuel Adams by Stacy Schiff and Alexander Hamilton by Ron Chernow on the list. Then to round out my history list, I got A Team of Rivals by Doris Kearns Goodwin. This one is about Abraham Lincoln and how he had to deal with all the politicians who were competing against him in the midst of the Civil War. Maybe I'll add some more down the line, but these are pretty dense, and it'll take me some time to get through. I'm not a fast reader. I have a couple of books sitting on my desk related to the environment. They are The Parrot and the Igloo, Climate and the Science of Denial by David Lipsky, and Future Seas, How to Rescue and Protect the World's Oceans by Deborah Rowan Wright. And finally, on my reading list right now, I'm planning on starting a new fiction series by Nicholas Harvey, the A.J. Bailey Adventure Series. And that will kick off with 12 Mile Bank. Back in 2023, when I was at DEMA, I was in search of a new dive destination. We had just returned from Atlantis in the Philippines, and I most definitely wanted to return. The trip was awesome, with 27 divers participating, a big trip for us. Right after we got back, we polled the group to see if they would be interested in going back. The feedback was that while they really liked Atlantis, they wanted to do something a little further out or different. So at the show, I met with Dive Into Lembeh, and it seemed to check all the boxes. The trip to Sulawesi is set for October of this year. Nice to say, this year. We'll fly to Singapore and then take the 3-hour flight from Singapore to Manado for a 9-day dive trip. Originally, the trip was planned for 10 days, but the flights from Singapore to Manado only run on certain days, and the compromise was to make the trip 9 days versus 10. Now, the trip will still run under the Scuba Shack banner, but it looks like Donna and I will be leading the group, and we're going to be doing a presentation at the shop next week. We can't wait to get out there to where they filmed some of the Secrets of the Octopus series. When I talked to the owner of Dive Into Lembeh at DEMA this year, she said the film crew was at the resort for 12 weeks. Can you imagine? That's what it takes to get those amazing shots. But that's not all for us. Like I said at the top, this is a milestone year for me, and since we are already way out there in the Indo-Pacific, we decided to extend our time out there. So after we fly back from Manado, Donna and I are headed back to the Philippines, and we're going to spend a week at Atlantis in Dumaguete. They say when you go to an Atlantis resort, you arrive as a guest and leave as a friend, and I couldn't agree more. Les Corkle got us all set for another great week in the Philippines. So we'll be gone for almost 3 weeks, and I get home just in time for DEMA. But waiting until October to get some tropical diving in just seemed too far out there. Now, originally we thought about going with the shop to Grand Cayman over Memorial Day weekend. Sunset House is one of my favorite locations, but we decided to do something very different. We're going back to Cayman Brac with Dive Pirates in June. Now, the Dive Pirates Foundation has been around since 2004 with a mission of getting people with physical disabilities into the mainstream world of travel and scuba diving, especially veterans, first responders, and law enforcement. I had heard about them before and then got a little more information when they won the DEMA Gold Dive Community Champion Award in 2023. Then, when I was at the Cayman Brac Beach Resort last October, I found out that they are affiliated with the resort and run trips to the Brac. So I made it a point to talk to them in Las Vegas. That sparked the interest in joining them for their June trip to Cayman Brac. Donna and I are all signed up, our plane reservations are made, and now our plans is to get some training in it being an adaptive dive buddy. I'm pretty excited about this trip and look forward to taking my diving to another level. I'm also planning to continue to write for William Klein's Scuba Diving Industry magazine. I have a couple of new articles in the works. The magazine also has a monthly podcast, Level Up. Each month we get together to talk a little bit about our article. I have found it to be a great way to network and meet some of the industry's leaders. While the magazine is geared to dive professionals, I think there is a lot of great information for anyone interested in scuba diving. Now, I just need to fit in time to take care of the house. While I don't really have any outdoor work to do, our homeowners association fortunately takes care of all that. I still have some indoor painting and repair work to finish up. Fitting that into my sweetness of doing nothing may prove to be a bit of a challenge. So there you have it, a bit of a look ahead for me and the Scuba Educational Alliance of Connecticut. I hope you've got your year planned out and your goals all set. And if not, we'll just take each day as it comes and enjoy. Thanks again for listening, and please spread the word. Until next time, take care, everyone. This has been the Scuba Educational Alliance Ocean Podcast, a show dedicated to the world of scuba diving, ocean health, sustainability, and fostering a new generation of ocean stewards through diving education. Talk to you again real soon.